Air fryers are faster, but countertop ovens can replace more appliances. In a tiny kitchen, buying the wrong one wastes precious counter space. I'll show you which format actually makes sense for your kitchen and your daily meals. If your cooking mostly means fries, wings, nuggets, frozen snacks, reheating leftovers, and quick vegetables, the air fryer is the easier recommendation. It heats a small chamber quickly, pushes hot air aggressively around the food, and gives you that crisp outside without waiting for a full-size oven to heat up. And that speed matters on a Tuesday night. You throw in some chicken, press a button, and you are eating without turning the kitchen into a sauna. A good under $200 example is the Instant Vortex Plus 6-quart, which is commonly around the $100 range, while the Cosori Pro LE 5-quart often sits even lower. The Ninja AF101 is another compact option when space matters more than capacity. But here's the catch. A basket is great at one thing: concentrating hot air around a relatively small amount of food. That means capacity can become annoying. If you're cooking for several people, you may end up running 2 or 3 batches. And if your meal needs a pizza, toast, a baking dish, or something you want to spread across a tray, the basket suddenly feels very small. That brings us to the countertop oven. A countertop oven is basically the Swiss Army knife of the two. You can toast bread in the morning, bake something for lunch, roast vegetables at dinner, reheat leftovers, broil, and on air fryer models, still get that crispy finish. For example, Breville's Smart Oven Air Fryer Compact is currently being sold around $200 during promotions. It combines air frying with oven-style functions, fits an 11-inch pizza, and can roast a 4.5-pound chicken. That sounds like the obvious winner, but it isn't. Because versatility comes with a cost you feel every single day: footprint. The Breville is roughly 16 inches wide and 17 inches deep. That is a serious amount of counter space in a genuinely small kitchen. And even compact countertop ovens are still more like mini appliances than something you casually pull out of a cabinet. So this is where the decision gets interesting. If counter space is your #1 problem, the air fryer usually wins, especially a compact 4-quart model. It gives you a smaller footprint, fast cooking, and a basket that is usually simple to remove and clean. Some compact models like the Cosori Lite also have dishwasher-safe removable parts, which makes the end of the meal much easier. But if you have enough counter space and you want one appliance to do more than crisp food, the countertop oven starts pulling ahead. Because you're not just buying an air fryer, you're buying something that can handle toast, pizza, baking, roasting, broiling, and reheating. And that changes how useful the appliance feels over an entire week. Now, cleanup is interesting. The air fryer usually has the simpler workflow. Pull out the basket, empty it, wash the basket and crisper, and you're done. A countertop oven gives you more surfaces, racks, trays, and crumbs to deal with. It isn't necessarily difficult to clean, it's just more involved. And in a small kitchen, that matters because the appliance itself is taking up space even when you're not cooking. Then there's capacity. This one depends on what you cook. For small portions, the air fryer can actually feel bigger than it looks because the compact chamber gets food close to the hot airflow. But for things that need horizontal space, the countertop oven wins. Pizza is the obvious example. Toast is another. And if you regularly cook something that needs a baking tray or an oven-safe dish, the oven format is simply more natural. The surprising part is speed. Air fryers usually feel faster for small portions because they have a small cooking cavity and aggressive airflow. Countertop ovens can also be fast, especially convection models, but you're heating a larger space. Breville says its Smart Oven Air Fryer Compact can reduce cooking time by up to 30% with its super convection system, but that doesn't mean every meal will be faster than a basket air fryer. The real advantage of the oven is not maximum speed, it's flexibility. And that leads to the question I think matters most. What do you actually cook? If your weekly menu is mostly frozen foods, chicken wings, fries, vegetables, fish, and reheated leftovers, buy the air fryer. If you regularly make toast, pizza, baked dishes, roasted meals, or anything that benefits from a tray, buy the countertop oven. If you live alone or with one other person, I'd lean air fryer unless you specifically want oven-style cooking. If you're feeding a family, I'd lean countertop oven provided you actually have the counter space. And if you're trying to replace multiple small appliances, the countertop oven makes even more sense. There's one more catch with air fryers. They're incredibly good at making you want a bigger one. You start with a 4-quart basket, then realize you can't cook enough chicken for everyone, so you upgrade to 6 or 8 quarts. then the footprint starts getting closer to a countertop oven anyway. That's why I wouldn't automatically buy the biggest air fryer under $200. Buy the size that matches your meals. And there's one more reason I would consider the countertop oven. It can be the appliance you leave on the counter because it actually replaces other appliances. A compact oven can handle your toast, your pizza, your roast, your reheating, and if it includes air frying, your crispy foods too. That's a very different kind of value. So here's my final verdict. For the person with almost no counter space who wants fast meals and mostly cooks small portions, get an air fryer. For the person who wants maximum versatility and has enough room to leave an appliance out, get a countertop oven. For a couple or small household that mostly wants crispy food, I'd spend less and get a good compact air fryer rather than using the full $200 budget. But if you want one appliance to cover breakfast, lunch, dinner, reheating, baking, and air frying, the countertop oven is the smarter long-term buy. And that's the twist. The air fryer is the better cooking tool. The countertop oven is the better kitchen replacement. So the winner depends on what you're trying to replace. If you're replacing a fryer, get the air fryer. If you're replacing several appliances, get the countertop oven. And in a small kitchen, that difference is worth thinking about before you spend the money.